Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hi, everybody. Okay. Hi, my name is Francine, and I have ovarian cancer. We don't know how long I have, so my job right now is to make every day count. So my workspace is not complete yet, but I hope to have that done this weekend, and I will get you an update on what it looks like, but I'm excited. By the way, hi, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. And today, just sort of free form talking, and I do have a topic in mind, but I have been a little bit lightheaded lately, so I went to the doctors. I'm going to get some blood work. I've had a headache with it, but I almost passed out twice, and then a couple of times just like a little bit of auras about it. I don't think I have a brain tumor or anything, but something's going on. My hunch is, though, that I'm dehydrated, and I don't blame my Wawa coffee, though. I am drinking a lot of water. I just continue to pee it out, I guess, just because of my diabetes. But my blood sugar isn't outrageous or anything. Is it as low as it should be? Probably not. But I'll get my A1C a little bit early. I was really due for another month. I would have liked that month to work on it a little better, but that's kind of like my MO. And I think a lot of people do this. It's like you just get your blood work. And if it was good, then you can go out and, party a little bit. And then when you know that, the time is coming, you need to behave again. It's not the way to go, but I don't have outrageous numbers to begin with. I just don't think it's really as bad as, to warrant passing out, obviously. So I'll keep you posted on that. Today, something that's bothering me for a while now. Sometimes I just don't know where to start because I don't write a script or an outline. So let me start with this. I have a lot of new viewers, and I really appreciate that you're on board. And if you are a new viewer but you have not subscribed, please do me that favor and help me grow my channel. So I did get a lot of questions recently about my cancer, that it was a little confusing because, I can't repeat it every single time, but I'll give you the Reader's Digest version, and then I want to go on to something else about it. I have a rare ovarian cancer, and it doesn't respond to a lot of treatments. And there might be a maintenance drug for me, but it's got so many side effects. Like, my doctor took me off of one of them at least. I just had a lot of bad reactions. So this is my second time around with ovarian cancer. I had it about 20 years ago. And I'm not on treatments at this point. I want to enjoy the quality of life I have for as long as I can. And I see a lot of people who, fight like hell, which is, a choice. And they also go through hell. One of my oncologists had said, I realize what we ask patients to do, and that they are not always well off. And my mother, for instance, she had breast cancer over 25 years ago, and she passed away because of the chemo results. She wasn't going to be here today if she had done something else, something different. She was going anyway, but it turned out it was the chemo that took her and not the cancer. So I have, as you know, I have two sets of oncologists, one of them here at home and one in Vermont. And I will talk about the Death with Dignity program another time. The one in Vermont had said something that really affected me, like seriously, the first time that we met. He said that usually with this cancer, it goes one of two ways. either there's a bowel obstruction that you don't survive, or there is it just basically wasting away, metabolically. And one of them is extremely painful and the other is extremely long and tedious. I don't want either one of those. And that's why I'm in the program that I'm in. Excuse me, this is bothering me. So I would like to not go either of those routes, but that's just not all my decision. I mean, I have faith in God, and God has a plan. He will either allow me to go on my terms or he won't. Because if I get sick enough, I'm probably not going to be going up to Vermont. Sometimes you're just too sick to travel. And then hospice would be my second option. But the bowel obstruction, that will come out of nowhere and send somebody to the hospital and they may never come back. I mean, it's not like I haven't said goodbyes, but I'd like to know that my last day is my last day. I guess everybody wants that. And I just figured, well, whatever God wants. But I know it's not really that easy. One thing that makes my case unique is that the cancer, the tumors, every time I say, oh, status quo, or the CT scans really don't show any change, my tumors are very camera shy. They are flat, like moles maybe, when the imaging is usually set up for looking at three-dimensional tumors. So instead of a couple of big tumors, I have like thousands of little freckles, and they're all over my colon and my bowel. Coupled with that, because of previous surgeries, I have a lot of scar tissue that is all throughout my bowels, the outside of my bowels. So everything is sort of fused together. The other thing is omentum. It is stuck. And that even was a problem 20 years ago. So my bowels have always been kind of like a funnel cake. I know that sounds weird. Maybe for those of you who don't know what one is, I'll get a picture. But once you turn that batter into the pan, you can't unravel that again. That's all fused together. So if they were to take the average person's bowel out, they could just like sort of roll it on the table or something, or, I know it's kind of gross, but it would be like a long line. And you couldn't do that. It would come out in one piece, or just be a blob. So bowel obstructions do scare me because that sets you up for a bowel obstruction pretty easily. Because the more they're fused and the more they squeeze together, they're narrowing my bowels. And this is why my oncologist wants me to stay on a low fiber diet. So certain vegetables that I can't have, I can have like tomato that's de-skinned, but I don't eat a lot of tomato, so I don't bother. Lettuce, iceberg lettuce, apparently has the least fiber, and carrots, but not too many other vegetables that I should have. And I love corn, like every other carb addict. And I, can't de-skin the corn. That would take a long time. I don't know if you can, but it would be nice if you could buy it in a bag, de-skinned. In any case, I have to be very careful about certain foods that I eat. For years, I've had whole wheat bread because it's supposedly better for you. And now I'm not supposed to have whole wheat bread. Although the bread that we buy is so pulverized, I think it's just brown white bread. So that's part of the situation. I mean, I hope I've explained that well. And if I haven't, please feel free to ask me more in the comments. But I'm definitely in the danger zone for that. And it's much more fused together because of the tumors that, than it was many years ago. I mean, there's just been a lot of abdominal surgeries and, my gallbladder. Every time they open me out, every time they open me up, there's more scar tissue to come. So the problem is, if I do have any problems, I won't be able to have surgery. There's just too many adhesions holding everything together. Now, if you have, I wouldn't be able to have a bowel resection or anything else, and that is possible when someone has a bowel obstruction. And of course, that's not the go-to. That's not the first line. First, they would try to flush it out. But if I have constipation and everything in there is a big ball of hardness because I have too much fiber, then it's harder to flush out. And that's the other reason. It's just keep everything flowing smooth, right? So she had me on Miralax for a very long time, and I'm still supposed to be on it, but I've had some GI issues, as you know. So, I've been working on that, and I haven't really needed the Miralax, but I just monitor it. She said, don't push. You're not allowed to push. I'm like, how do you not push? She goes, okay, just don't push hard. So I know this is all too much TMI, but too much TMI. Okay. Well, there you go. But you are watching this because I have cancer, I think. And so I didn't understand all that. I mean, not for a while. In my support group, there were people that had bowel obstructions, and they were in the hospital, and they survived it. They talked about getting a tube down their nose, and, that it was gross and it was uncomfortable, and that had to happen for a few days. But what really got me was a video I saw on YouTube. One of my very favorite YouTube content creators is hospice nurse Julie. And I know already that a few of you do watch her. She's wonderful. I think she wrote a book, I think it was called Nothing to Fear. And she just presents very well. And there was a video that she did that I'm going to look for and link it up above. It was about bowel obstructions, and it was the one topic that her heart really went out to the patients for. And just to summarize, that if you can't get it any other way, if you can't fix it, the patient just continually is nauseous and throws up. And even when it becomes dry heaves and everything's gone, they still do it. They're constantly vomiting. And it could go on for however long it takes to pass away, actually. Because if they can't do anything about it, the best they can do is keep somebody comfortable. And when the patient can't handle it anymore, then they ask to be sedated. The sedation is not something they're going to come back from. They sedate you until you pass away. So if everything happened really suddenly, I don't have time for the final goodbyes. I mean, if I were to just die of a heart attack in my sleep right now, I have done a lot of the final details. I have loved ones that, I did get to see that I hadn't seen for a long time. I made sure that I saw friends, and, so it wouldn't be a big shock, obviously, maybe the way I would die. But, it would be it's always nice to know. If you have the option to know when you're going to go, then great. But it's not in my hands. And I understand that. But it is, I'll let you watch that video. But it was definitely disturbing to me, because I thought there's a really good chance that I could go that way, because I may not have the advantages that others have to get a resolve out of it. There would be no bowel resectioning. There would be, I guess they would have to just take my whole bowel out. But at that point, I don't really see myself wanting to be here. So it made me really nervous. And I just decided not to look at any more bowel obstruction videos because it's really scary. It's highly more likely for me to get a bowel obstruction because of the squeeze on the outside tissues that are, the adhesions. I mean, they just grow. They just keep growing. Scar tissue will just keep growing and it has wrapped itself around my bowels, my large intestines. I don't know much about the small intestines if I have a lot there. But because the scans were status quo, which of course is a good thing. But I mean, if they had shown some changes, then I'd really be worried. But the doctor will take a peek in the summer in the OR just to compare what she saw before. And that is the only way that we might know. And I say might, because if there's too much scar tissue and she can't see anymore, then we only go by the way I feel. That's it. I'm praying like every day and giving God thanks every single day that, I'd like to be here another year. I'd like to be here another 2 years. I mean, the way that I feel some days, I feel like, I'm going to be here another 6 months. But days like today that I'm having a good day, I mean, I feel like I could be here 2 years. I feel like a day like today is a gift. It's a gift that I can do a video and I can connect to other people who understand or need support. But I don't know. So I could be this YouTuber where you go, well, you would never know you were sick. You would never know. And that's great. And as long as I'm feeling good, this is apparently it's not affecting my weight. It's not affecting a lot of systems except maybe my GI and, nausea and exhaustion. So the exhaustion is metabolic, but I just thank God I'm still here and I feel good enough to put a video up that I don't feel like I'm at my last days. But apparently that could change in an instant. And that's another reason why, my motto, make every day count. And that's what I'm trying to do. And by doing that, I have to give certain things up so that I can draw my boundaries and things that don't serve me anymore. I'm always about serving others, and I don't know if I mentioned this, that I'm on my HOA board. HOA means Homeowners Association. And it's just basically an organization in your neighborhood that, has a board of directors and helps helps with complaints, helps with, getting the snow removed and the lawn mowed, and we contract with others. And so everybody pays into a fund every month, and then we execute what needs to be done with the fund. So it's not a really huge job. I'm the secretary of the board. So I do the minutes and things like that. But that's just another thing I'm about to give up because I don't really want to focus on that anymore either. It's something that I'm also concerned about, not being able to show up to a meeting, and I'm the secretary. So I really need to take notes and gather up a lot of things and information and document how the meeting went. So that's just another thing, and I'm sure there'll be more. I don't give up much easily. I really don't. I'm a Taurus, just in case you need to know. So I'm just feeling, I guess, a little melancholy today about that video, just to know more about how that works. And there are bowel obstructions, don't get me wrong, that resolve themselves. So I wouldn't want you to think a bowel obstruction is always a death sentence, but it can be life-threatening. And in my situation, it could very well be life-threatening. But there are a lot of people that have them and they get them resolved. And most people say that, high fiber is actually how you push things through, but not in the case of ovarian cancer because of the fact that you've got the squeeze from the outside. It's not the blockage from the inside. So there's nothing really to push through because there's no blockage on the inside. I hope that makes sense. All right, so boy. Well, that was a fun video. All that crap talk. Yeah, I think that dealing with any terminal illness, any illness at all, has its gross factors. So you kind of have to have a stronger stomach. And I can deal with that. I've never been afraid of the sight of blood, but it's not like I want to see the blood either. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking out the window. I really love this view, but here comes Chris. So I'm going to take off now. Love you all. Bye.